Hey, good flying Wild West show, because we're flying all over the place, and we got all kinds of nice people here tonight. And we're talking to Captain Hawk Boughton over here before. And Captain Boughton, you said that you will be in office now for another 3 years.
About 3 years, right.
Okay, now tell me about the outfit that you have on.
Well, this is an early long hunter type outfit, from moccasins, pants, and the hunting coat, which they wore back 1700 to 1820 approximately. And this is called a gorget. It's a silver moon-shaped thing worn around the neck. Gorge is from the French word throat, and this is a throat protector. It was one of the last remnants of armor. And they were given to French, English, German, Dutch soldiers, last part of their armor. That's about all on that, Jack.
Okay, now the outfit that you have on is made from what?
From deerskin, buckskin.
From deerskin, and it has fringe on it on the sleeves, and around the collar.
Fringe and a few beads, but not many. I don't care too ornate an outfit. I don't go for that.
Okay, now this outfit that Fiddlin Dick has back here, he tells me he made those yellow pants himself.
That's right. He put them on, showed them to us the first time last night. Made them from pretty much scrap leather, buckskin. Yeah.
And do you think he did that himself?
Oh, I know he did.
Is that right? That's not a bad job, is it?
Guaranteed. No, sir. He has more talents than you can shake a stick at. He's good in many fields. He's good a horn maker. When I say horn maker, I mean powder horns. Good at repairing wagons, and he's showing us he's putting new spokes in a wagon wheel.
Oh, I know he can do things like that. Yes.
Himself. His antique cars. He even does the pinstriping himself. You know. Yeah.
No, I know he has a lot of talent like that, but there's some I can understand those kind of things, but making that own outfit like that kind of fascinates me. Do you have now you have to do, when you go out to one of your encampments, you have to use you don't use matches, you have to use tinder and all that sort of thing, don't you?
That's right. Everything has to be just as it was before 1840. In other words, there's no aluminum foil allowed in camp, or no cellophane, none of our so-called synthetics used nowadays. And
if you're going to one of those places like that, like if you come in automobiles or something like that, you got to park the cars how far?
Right, and carry your things in, pack them in. And sometimes, of course, we have long canoe trips, long horseback rides. Last October, I was on a 1-week survival trip where we took nothing to eat with us, not even salt. And this was in eastern Tennessee, in the Plateau region over there. And I tell you,
now wait a minute. What did you have to trap or fish or what?
We had guns, but nothing was in season except squirrels, and there weren't many squirrels. We were lucky to average 2 squirrel legs a day, and you know that isn't much meat on a squirrel leg. And I know my wild edible plants pretty well, and some of the medicinal plants, and we were able to find high bush blueberries, late fall blueberries in October, jewelweed, which is a good outdoor vegetable type weed, and walnuts, and a few.
Now on the weeds that you're talking about, do you eat the bulbs underneath the ground off of the weeds, or do you eat the weed itself, the stem, or what?
Well, everything is different, and there's various ways of cooking. They have to be cooked right. Depends on the plant itself. They're all different. It may be the root, or it may be the leaf, or it may be the seeds on the plant. And let's see, we ate. We weren't supposed to do this, but we had to. We ate 3 crows. I didn't get any of that, by the way. 1 frog and 1 copperhead snake, and we're glad to get it. But after a week, after 5 days, we were near a road, a logging road. Myself and 9 others walked out. The remainder of the 15 The 6 men, they kept on another 2 days, and we met them at the final camp.
So you had 15 guys start out on, and you didn't, and you had nothing to.
No, not even salt. And the last camp before we started this.
Well, now, wait a minute. I'm sorry, but what would happen if you? What would happen if you just really did? You couldn't find anything to eat or anything. How would you survive?
Well, in the United States, there's no section of the United States where you can't survive if you know your wild plants and your animals that are in that area and how to get them, how to secure them. Now, I've gone on these things for shorter times, 3 days, for example, on a canoe trip in Missouri. And there we were able to catch a few about 6-inch fish. We found jewelweed again. And we found a lot of watercress over there. All those cold streams have watercress in them. We ate a lot of raw watercress, a lot of cooked watercress, and found blackberries. This was during the summer.
How much weight did you lose?
I think I lost at least 10 to 12 pounds, and everyone else did. And when we finally got out and went to a restaurant, we had big ideas of what we were going to eat, but I guess our stomachs had shrunk.
That's what I
because
thought, yeah.
because we ordered biscuits and gravy and potatoes and everything, and then could only eat a few bites and we're full. But then in about a half an hour to an hour, we were hungry again. So I suppose it's because the stomach had shrunk.
Well, I'm sure of that, but that seems like if you had to do that, wouldn't you really be complaining about it?
I think so. It wasn't fun. I didn't say this was fun. It was an experience. You can say that with honesty, but it wasn't fun. It's an experience, and you learn something, but it's not fun.
Hey, Captain Hawkmountain, thank you very much for telling us about that. That's very, very interesting. And I tell you, see what I'm talking about, the mountain men? These guys are tough. They do all kinds of fascinating things like that. I wouldn't want to do that, I promise you. I wouldn't even want any part of it. But I don't mind hearing about it from someone else that's much stronger than I. Hey, you rascals, once again, let's have some good music from up here. That these gentlemen, 2 of them from Cincinnati, and that's Jeff Camel and Dick Freeman, are from Cincinnati, and Paul Brink on the guitar is from Louisville, and then, as you know, Fiddlin Dick Wilson is from Gallatin County, and they've got together to make it.
Orange Blossom Special.
Oh, I love it. I love that one. Yeah.
Where J.R. and his daddy hear that Orange Blossom Special, all the letters and things, but no, that was a request came in. So J.R. told me to pop that on. I never could play it in my life. We're going to try it, boys, out a little bit of the key, then we'll break it for that break off. See if it comes something like this right here. 60 miles an hour.
Ah, you rascals! I tell you. Hey, listen, a lot of fun tonight. We got Fiddlin Dick Wilson. We have Buffalo Chip. We have Captain Hawk Boughton. We have Paul Brink, Jeff Campbell, Dick Freeman, Paul Mitchell. We also have sitting at the board in there Flat Top Martin, and we have my wife Scarlett O'Foltz from Madison, Indiana, and Susie Q. Tincher from Livonia, and we have Cindy Cornett from Orleans. We have Kathy Wheeler from here in Salem, Indiana, in Washington County, and we have
Rita.
from
Covington.
from Covington. Is that right? And we have May from Cincinnati. Listen, I used to come up that Covington area all the time. I used to broadcast ball games up there, and the only thing about it was that, you know, Covington Catholic, places like that, and the poor little teams that bring up there would look at those great big tall buildings in Cincinnati. I think they were playing those buildings and lose to Covington Catholic all the time. You know, they didn't realize they were playing a team from Kentucky. They'd see the buildings in Cincinnati and think they're playing up there and lose every time to them. Those big kids, boy. They thought they were playing those buildings. Doesn't that happen? It really does, you know. And hey, listen, you guys, I wanted to talk to J.R. Martin and hey, Buffalo Chip. May I have your presence in here once again, you guys? I wanted to talk to you about that ride you took this summer. Because there's a lot of times I didn't get a chance to hear all the lies about that ride you guys went on before. Tell us, start out again with, and tell me, how did you hear about it in the first place?
Well, I see that, like Hawk Boughton, he's our captain. Through the word of mouth and what all we hear about a ride going to rendezvous, and JR, this first time JR wanted to take part in this here doings. So he had worked hard getting his ride equipment as far as using the Santa Fe saddles and the ox cart stuff.
Oh, I know. I suffered through it with it.
Is that right? He tried hard to get his doings. Well, he got it all squared away, so that made him eligible by a guy to take part in the ride because everything's kept right. So we made...
Wait a minute, I want to ask you this. How come he used a buffalo saddle to ride a horse?
He's talking about he's seen your saddle with the big buffalo fur on it.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Well, buffalo fur is pretty doggone soft. It's not only keeps you warm in the wintertime, but it's soft to sit on.
Oh, I see.
When you ride 450 miles on horseback, you got to have something soft.
I would reckon.
Buffalo's still in it.
That's for damn going sure, by gosh. But anyway, we we started out. We rode from Mount View, Wyoming, into Cameron, Wyoming, and Big Z, he's our not rendezvous, but he's our ride chief, and he keeps everything right. And we worked hard and got things squared away, made to it, and by gosh, we made the ride in there. We run across, we was without water for about 2.5 days out in the desert. We come across some water that had a little alkali in it. So JR, one lucky son of a gun. With the old Indian trick, you ask somebody, say, JR, he's a good fella for this. He's easy. You ask JR to pick a number from 1 to 10. And JR, he was one lucky son of a gun.
He got the number every time.
Yes, indeed. He picked the number.
Yes,
Every time we had to get firewood or we had a chore that was a little bit unpleasant, we asked JR to pick a number from 1 to 10, and he won. Well, after quite a few days went by, JR complained about how he was winning so much. So I laid it down, a beautiful beaded quilt knife sheath and a beautiful elk handle knife. And I said, JR, I'm tired of you complaining about God. Pick up a number from 1 to 10, and if you pick the right number, you'll win that beautiful knife and knife sheath.
That's the only time he lost.
Yes, well, he picked
number 7.
and he lost. So it just goes to prove he don't win all the time.
Number was 3, right?
That was the right one. Funny how you knew that.
You've been there.
But anyway,
That's incredible.
we JR drank the alkali water, and he didn't die. So we gave it to the horses, and they didn't die, so we drank it.
I think something was unfair there. I'm not for sure, but I've been...
No, it sounds right to me.
Okay. Well, 2 of you.
Well, no, what I was wondering, that if he'd had to pay for the water, then I could understand. I bet you money you'd never got him drink that first.
That's for doggone. Yeah, he's the only Jewish mountain man. Saul Daniel Boone Martin right here.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
No, if he'd had to pay for that water, he'd never had it first.
That's
all.
for sure.
But I'll tell you, now, you did it. Now, didn't you guys also have to? Didn't you carry guns and go on a?
We did a little fishing along the way, a lot of trout, and there was some grouse. I apologize. A lot of prairie chickens and sage hens out west.
And probably a couple grouches along too.
Yeah, but we won't talk about certain people. Like Dog, he was a grouch. He liked to talk a lot.
I saw his picture.
Yeah.
He looked like a grouch.
Yeah. Well, anybody with a name like Dog, by God, you figure he'd be a grouch. No, I'm just kidding. He's good people, that's for sure. But we kept everything right along the ride. We had enough dried fruit, and we had buffalo jerky, and we had a lot of that good Kentucky water that comes in jars, but we had to put them in our gourd canteens. It was a lot of good doings on the ride. Now, that was the ride into Wyoming. Now, the one into Montana was a different ball game.
Your first ride, you enjoyed very much. It was your second ride; it wasn't too swift.
No, see, we was told it was a primitive ride, and sure enough, by God, there was 2 or 3 fellows on that ride that were real good on their doings. But there were some boys on that ride that didn't have their doings together. They didn't keep it right, and it made JR and I disappointed. They had certain things like cigarette lighters. You ever hear tell of them things?
Cigarette lighters?
Yeah, I think that's what you flatlanders call them. But they had them things, and they had a thing, some kind of a blanket.
Yeah, shiny thing, something like a space blanket or something.
Space blanket a guy had. And they had a guy, by God, had one.
That's to reflect the sun.
Some kind of a light.
Yeah, you flip it like this here, and the candle.
It's called a flashlight.
Yeah.
And his wick never went out.
You guys have a lot of trouble, don't you?
Yeah.
And his wick never went out.
Yeah, his wick never went out. And
anyway. Wind blew.
And every time they did, showed up with some of this foreign stuff to us, we asked them about this here light, and they said, well, I guess you never chase horses at night without one of these here flashlights, they call them, I think. And I said, by God, a man good enough to be a mountain man, he won't lose his horse at night.
Hey, I never thought about that.
If he does, he's good enough to hunt it of a night without the flashlight.
That's for doggone sure. He could find that rascal. But they had a lot of stuff, like I say, they had a lot of extra stuff. Matter of fact, we lost a pack mule off a 1,000-foot drop. He tumbled 4 times before he hit the bottom. Big puff of white smoke went up, and there was a sack of flowers fell off that rascal. We thought, my God, the Great Spirit was taking him back up to him, you know. But me and JR and about 4 other boys on the ride kept it right. We used a flint and steel, and we kept it all clean, and we enjoyed the ride. But there were some boys that just like let me say something. This is a fact. Hawk, I believe, will back me up, and Phil and Dick will back me up, and a lot of boys, Freeman and Paul, a whole bunch of them will back me up on this. There's a lot of people that wear these outfits, but they don't have the heart for it. They like to wear the outfits, but they like to have their coolers close by, and you can't bring no cooler on a horseback. And you can't bring no cooler on no canoe ride like Hawk Bolton.
Okay, then I'm not going.
Well, flatlanders like you, with your what'd you call that thing? Disco or disc?
Yeah, disco, I think, something like that.
Outfit on, make it hard. You get your bell-bottom trousers caught in your stirrups.
Oh, shut up.
But no, all kidding aside, there's a lot of people that wear these outfits that don't mean anything to them. They like to stand around a campfire and talk about it, or maybe even at the radio station and talk about how old-timey and how much they enjoy it and how they like to keep it right. But in their heart, they don't keep it right. But by gosh, they're American mountain men. They keep it right. They're the only organization that keeps it right. And that's a fact. And when you walk into there, you walk into history. That's a fact.
No, I understand that. And it takes someone like you guys to really believe in that and have the heart to do something like that. I can remember a long time ago when I used to race sports cars and how some guys would like to wear their uniform They wore it to bed. They wore it up. They wore it when they're out. You always say they couldn't race, but they could sure. It's just like you guys. You do the whole thing, and
it's the same thing like Paul Mitchell. We talked about here at Brown Foreman. Well, we worked for Brown Foreman Distilleries, one of the finest outfits that ever was. Anybody
free
buy
plug for
anything
Brown
else
Foreman?
besides Brown
Did you get
Foreman?
that on there, Mr. Martin? You got that plug on there? Okay, all right.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, they make a lot of good product. That's for doggone sure. And we use it as often as possible. Phil and Dick probably uses more than the rest of us.
No, he told me he used it for sore and aching muscles. Isn't that true?
All his muscles are sore and aching. But,
well, what the crime is?
but
It's a good
Paul,
product.
he's one of my many bosses at Brown Foreman. I've got a whole flock of them that follows me around most every day. And Paul can tell you that he's in the cowboy doings. It's just like we're in the mountain man doings. And Paul can tell you, by God, that there's fellers in his doings the same way. They sit around and talk about cowboy doings and what all. But by God, as far as them getting on a horse, I mean a bronking horse or chasing a dang steer with a rope in their hand, they ain't never did it. But boy, they can talk a good story. That's for a fact.
Sure. Well, that's the way that it is with every kind of organization, and you're always going to find that. You guys know it before you went out. In fact, I think you know when you went on that ride, before you ever started to ride, you already knew who was going to be the phonies, didn't you?
Yeah, we seen quite a few good suspicions.
Let me say one more thing while we're thinking, because the four of us are just standing here. That also includes you. Now, I hear tell people talk about radio announcers. And there are some good ones, and there's a lot of bad ones.
Amen.
There's some of them that are so obnoxious on the doggone air that nobody cares to, and the weird people, by God, love to listen to them, all right? But there's people, by God, and I've heard enough doings on you on radio, by God, that you've got a heart, and you can spot it. Anybody just listen to you for 5 seconds, you can tell it. And by God, you're a genuine article, just like, by God, Paul Mitchell, genuine article, and Paul Brink sitting over here playing his banjo, and he loves bluegrass music, and he loves folk music. Yeah. Hawk Boughton over there loves mountain man doings. We got the heart for it, by God, but there's other people that wear all the different funny outfits. A man may hold a guitar or a banjo, or man may wear a buckskin, or man may hold a microphone, or man may wear a cowboy outfit. That don't make them what they're supposed to be. That's for a fact.
Well, there's one thing about when you hear guys like Freeman back here, and our banjo plucker, I'm sorry about that, Jeff. And when you hear those guys, the way that they sang a while ago, they're real too. You know, they got real. When you sing like that, you've got to have real heart. You know, and for what you're doing. And then the guys say, no, we don't play together.
Right.
And they sound better than a whole. Now, JR, we've done a bunch of shows together.
I know.
And these guys are a lot better than a lot of the people that we saw were supposed to be musicians playing together and all that sort of thing.
I
would too.
I would say one more thing too. The reason I think Hawk Boughton come 4 hours way down from Western Kentucky. Paul Brink come from Louisville. Jeff and Freeman come from Cincinnati. Paul come from Louisville. We come for one person, and that is the maestro.
Yeah, J.R. Martin.
Not J.R. Wrong.
Do I get another guess? Paul Mitchell. Did I get?
Wrong.
Okay, let me try. Oh, here he is. That's the man you're talking about. Fiddlin' Dick Wilson. Tricky Dick.
Fiddlin' Dick and Tricky Dick. Oh, let's get him.
We love that man. That's
Hey,
for sure.
did I get any more guesses?
No.
This is Buffalo Chip's Wild West Show.
Buffalo Chip and Jack folks and Fiddlin' Dick and Tricky Dick.
No, we got him out as president.
He's got my vote.
Fiddler Dick Wilson has my vote. Here's your fiddle over here, Dick. Did you see what you caused? See what you guys caused? Here's your weapon. Here's your weapon. Beat him up. Here's your weapon.
I hope they got no bone.
Dick was over trying to put in some good points with Captain Hawk Boughton, you see. And, thank you, Mr. Mitchell.
Hawk got Hawk, you put me in a
All right.
left flank in the rear margin.
All right. Hey, we got a
request.
request. We got a request as long as your arm. You go play something or just talk.
Give me a little bit of the kid deal. Let's get a little of that third Arkansas Traveler one time, boy. Let's wake it up here.
Oh, yeah.
Kid on that Arkansas Traveler.
Bob Burns' favorite number.
One shot.
Jeff Campbell's over here, man, just plucking away like everything. And young Mr. Freeman back there too. Paul working up a storm. And well, you're hey, we're going to give you a rest. We're going to give you just a little bit of a rest. We're going to come in here and ask you guys, could you do one more for us in here, okay? And we're going to give Richard just a little bit of a rest in here. And let's use this mic. Cincinnati, Ohio, we give you once again Jeff Camel and Dick Freeman right here, backed up by Paul Brink from down at Louisville, Kentucky, as they're getting all tuned up, ready to go right here on WSLM. This is a kind of a tribute tonight to old Fiddlin Dick Wilson from up at Gallatin County, Kentucky, as we give you Buffalo Chip's Traveling Wild West show right here on WSLM in beautiful Salem, Indiana. All right, gentlemen, they're all ready to get underway once again, and here they are, Jeff Camel and Dick Freeman.
That old man is close, close creeping around, and the fire is burning low. The snow has covered up the ground. Your baby's a hungry second cold. Sweetheart, I beg you to come home tonight. Time's something all alone. I promise that I'll treat you right. As the rain is letters that I write to you, sweetheart, I hope you understand that you're the only love I know. Please forgive me if you can. Sweetheart, I beg you to come home tonight. Time's something all alone. I promise that I'll treat you right. Love, oh love, please come home. Let's do another banjo tune. Theme time.
You also plays the violin, I mean the fiddle.
Jeff's a good fiddler.
Yeah.
I'll play the banjo director. I'll play the banjo director. Jack, he'll play the fiddle. He's a good fiddler, right?
Are you allowed to do that?
No.
I guess
You're not allowed to do that.
No.
I mean, do you have a union?
Oh, no, nothing like that.
I mean, I thought, you might have you might have some kind of a union or something where you're not allowed to do stuff like that. See, we have in the announcing game, we have a union, and it's just like this way. I'm not allowed to play. The only reason I'm not playing the banjo or the banger or the guitar is because we have a union, and I've said I have promised that I won't play that and take your jobs away from
Well,
me.
it's just when Fiddlin Dick is around, I don't usually play the fiddle.
Oh, I see. All right. Hey, listen now. That what we were talking about on August the 24th. That deal about that. Would you bring a fiddle down then?
Yeah, sure would.
Okay, because now I'm serious about that. I really want to talk to you about it very, very seriously, because it's a grand show. It really is, and it's going to be a show on a Friday night, and then the whole thing goes to Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But we just want you on Friday night, and then on Sunday afternoon there's a great gospel sing all Sunday afternoon. It's really a good it's a good thing, and it's like a great big homecoming for all the people around that whole area of Neville's Grove in Madison, Indiana. It's really something too. So I know they'd enjoy. You guys are tough, man. I like that. Hey, you got another number?
It's a pleasure to be here.
What?
Of course, that Madison, Indiana is one of the prettiest southern Indiana towns.
Isn't that lovely?
It'd be a great place to play.
And if you get down there, be sure and eat at the downtown Fiesta restaurant. It's called the Foltz's Fiesta. It's a nice place to eat. Everyone tells me that. Don't forget that, will you not?
No, I won't.
Say those words again. What was it? What was the name of it?
The Fiesta restaurant. It's my favorite that ever was. I love
come on, Jack.
I love their bologna and onion head sandwiches.
Mr. Freeman, where did you pick him up? Could you take him back?
On the banks of the Ohio.
Hey, listen, could you? No, that's in Madison, Indiana. It wasn't here, I know. Hey, Paul, could you get me out of this? Could you play something?
You're doing a mighty fine job. Mighty fine job. They're banging us up.
Hey, all right. Hey, listen, I'll sing this one. Go right ahead. You tried to kill my microphone just because I said it's going to sing it. I don't think that's right. Okay, gentlemen, anything you want. Once again, it is Jeff Camel on the banjo, Paul Brink on the guitar, and Dick Freeman on the guitar. Freeman.
sea.